So on this channel, I've done some videos on Wagner, and I did a short that kind of just sat there for a while, but in the past few weeks just started to explode, and now it's about to pass 80,000 views, and that should be a good thing, right? Well, it turns out there was a lot that happened which was quite unexpected. It went beyond just regular discussion of Wagner's music and of him as a person, and sometimes strayed into just outright ugly anti-Semitism. So I wanted to share with you what I discovered, not just what people said about Wagner, but about the actual people who responded. And don't get me wrong, this video isn't a rant. It's a discussion of things that truly fascinated me about the reactions I got to this short. The first thing that I found that was amazing to me was that people still have very strong feelings about Wagner. I mean, this is a composer who died well over 100 years ago, and for most people, it brought up really, really strong feelings in the comments, not only about the music, but also about the composer, his views, his thoughts, a whole array of views on everything about him. It's interesting because the argument I was trying to make in this short was that we have to be able to separate the art from the artist. If we pick and choose every single artist because they're perfect people that align exactly with our views, we're going to end up with a very, very short list of composers. Many composers and artists, and just people in general, have views that we're just not going to agree with, and some that we even find repugnant. And the question I raised that I didn't want to answer for people, but I wanted people to think about was, is it worth rejecting the music if we don't like the person? And I brought Wagner up because I'm Jewish, and because I do love Wagner's music, and I will play his music because it's great music. And you have people like Leonard Bernstein and many Jewish performers and conductors who played it, and indeed a Jewish conductor who premiered Parsifal. So I think there's a good argument for saying, love the music even if you don't like the man. One thing that truly shocked me, and perhaps you'll call me naive, was that the anti-Semitism that Wagner felt at the time, which can be put into context, I think, quite reasonably, is still very much alive today without a good context. There were people who took the opportunity of that video to do one thing and one thing only, to show pure, raw hatred. It was so unfortunate. It made me really sad that people are still out there hating people just because they're Jewish, black, white, or whatever. Just because of one reason they have that hate. And that they would take a video that discussed something uplifting about how we should separate the man from the music and how his music is great, and say, forget all that, I just want to express my hatred. That shocked me. And the people who did that, I'm pretty sure, are not going to be watching this video. But the point I would make to them is, there's a big difference between contextualizing a 19th century composer's anti-Semitism and supporting it for people living today and having an active hatred towards people outside of that context. And another thing I learned, which I found very interesting, which I would give you as advice as you look for videos about music or classical music, is that shorts are different. If you're a YouTube creator, you'll know this. A short like that immediately got 6,000 views and then sat there for 2 months doing nothing. And then it exploded, getting 10,000 views a day for a while, and still climbing right now. And I think what happens with that is a 60-second short can easily go out into the world and sort of be shown to many, many people who have nothing to do with your niche and have nothing to do with the subject. People still want to just grab onto that opportunity and say something. And that's not necessarily bad, but what you have to realize as a creator, and I knew this, but I learned it even more strongly after this, is that there's a huge variety of people out there with a whole huge variety of views. And that if you make a short and it explodes like that, you're not going to necessarily get people who want to talk about the actual subject matter in the short. And it shouldn't be something that dissuades you from talking, engaging, and viewing these things. What happened with me was that there were so many comments happening so fast and furiously that I found I was becoming a full-time moderator. If I didn't look at the comment section for, say, 2 hours, I would come back and there would be floods of comments. Most of them were good, right? Most of them are good, very thoughtful. If you see the comments that are there now, some of them are amazing and really made me think. But some of them just went straight to the held section because of their just rabid hatred and maybe some swearing and other things like that. So I had a choice. I could have totally stopped comments, but then they would have all disappeared. And I thought that's not right because there's so many thoughtful ones on there. So what I ended up doing was pausing the comments, which means they stopped there, but you can still read the ones that were there. I want to know what you think about that. Would you have done the same thing? I may reopen it at some time in the future when it calms down and isn't getting so many views per minute. I mean, it's a great thing to get all those views, but not if it's lighting the fire under people who are just going out there to hate. I believe I was right, the things that I said in that video. Wagner was someone who you can hold great admiration and condemnation for at the same time. But he's not around. He's not around. We don't have to actively dismiss him. We can enjoy his music without worrying about his character. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.